welcome to another episode of Mom Talk. Today we have Jennifer Matuszak with us. Victoria knows her. She's a firewife, married to Matt. We actually have something in common as well, that we both have Henrys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, y'all both have Henrys.
Yep, so my Henry's 11, your Henry's 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then your daughter is Clara, and she's 7.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you from here?
Yes. I grew up across the river.
Okay.
I went to Central.
Elementary, middle, and high.
Middle, high.
Okay.
And then went to Austin P.
What did you go to Austin P for?
Marketing.
Okay. What year did you graduate?
09.
Okay, I graduated Austin P in 07 for business.
Oh, we probably...
Yeah, maybe.
Y'all overlap some.
Yeah, maybe we crossed paths some.
Yeah, probably a class here and there.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm kind of using my degree right now, just still being here. And we're recording at the spa when I say here today. So I feel like that really worked out for me, but I was already working here before I even did that.
Mm-hmm. I never used mine.
Okay, so what
Officially.
do you do? Tell us
I stay
everything.
home and homeschool. And whatever the church needs, I try to volunteer there and help out with the children's ministry.
What church do you go to?
Yellow Creek.
Okay.
Baptist.
I love that.
I mean, I feel like that's why I wanted you on, to talk about like homeschooling and church. Like those are like the two
Those
things.
are my things.
Yeah, like,
That's your jam.
That's my
and
job.
I was telling Jordan, like, I was like, I want to have this lady named Jennifer on. She's a firewife, but like she homeschools. And I was like, and when my grandma died, she made the best food. And like,
Yes.
I didn't have to cook for my family for like a week. And it was the best thing ever.
That's really the only skill I have is like, let me feed you. I can feed you.
That's your
all the
love.
time.
I love that. And I want to be that person, and I'm not. And so I'm like, wow.
We actually, our friend's father just died, and we said, what do you need? And they were like, cookies. We just need cookies. And so we bake the cookies, and we pray over the cookies, and then it just doesn't solve anything, but it makes you feel a little joy.
Yeah, like you've done
Yeah.
something and helped them out.
And I told Jordan, I was like, I want to be that, but also, like, if I didn't know your faith and, like, that you were Christian, like, your actions scream
Aw.
it, like, so loudly.
Well, thank you.
And I just think you're the sweetest.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's literally all I can say. And like when I got diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension, you made the gift basket, but you included like little crafts for my kids and like little things like that. You know, you just don't forget. And they're important and they're special.
I think a lot of people who aren't believers, they look at Christians as like, we're just going to judge you and we're just going to beat you over the head. But all you have to do is love people. And I think if people did that, could you imagine the world we live in if people just loved each other?
Yeah.
And were kind.
And like
The basics.
the
Yeah.
very basics. And I mean, it's not like I knew you super well at all. I don't even know if I'd met you when my grandmother died. And just doing things for people.
Matt had came home and was like, hey, we've got to get food made. I'm like, okay, done.
Like, I want to be that so bad. Like, that's a goal for me in life.
I've got tons of recipes. To make them.
Yeah,
Just
that's what we
inspirational
need,
for me.
yeah. So Matt and Jarrett worked at the same station?
Yes.
How long did they work together?
He
Jarrett-
left before Matt got promoted, right?
Yes. So Jarrett was there. He was there for 10 years.
Matt was there 10 years, but on the squad was when they worked together.
Yeah. So squad since, I don't know.
I don't either.
What does squad mean?
So it's for like high intensity calls.
Okay.
Like if they have to rope climb to get somebody out. Or,
Oh, right. I know you told me Jarrett did a lot of
They have some
different...
specialized tools, like rare but
Yeah.
high risk situations, is my understanding of it.
Okay, so they did that together.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. Was that like, so they were probably on squad together for
a couple years.
2-3 years?
Is Matt from here as well?
He's from Ithaca.
Where did y'all meet?
We met in Nashville. I actually was with my friend who was going on a blind date, and Matt was there, and I remember walking down the steps. We were listening to a band. I'm like, I'm going to sit by that guy right there. He is so handsome.
Oh my gosh, you went
And
for it.
I did, and I remember I was like shivering because, you had to look cute. It didn't matter. It was 8 degrees outside.
Exactly.
Right.
So the next thing I know, he comes back, and he had brought me his jacket from his truck. And I was like,
Gentlemen.
this guy right here. And so we left, and I didn't know what he drove, but I just thought that truck looks like maybe his friend's truck or something. So I wrote a note and said, call me, and it made it to
You
him.
guessed the right
I
truck.
did. If that's not the Lord
Gosh.
saying,
No, y'all were meant to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the crazy thing, he actually has family here. So growing up, we were probably, at the gas station side by side.
never knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
crazy.
wild.
What a story. I love that.
And I always said I would never marry anyone from the Army or from New York
Okay.
or younger than me. And he's all 3 of those things. So never say never, because the Lord will be like, well, guess what?
You're never in.
Here you go, Neverin.
Yep, I've nevered a lot.
What's y'all's age difference?
2 years.
Oh, okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
No. But for like 1 month, there's 3 years technically, and he loves to tell people that.
Right.
So that's so funny you said military was on your never list. That was also on my never list. Now, Jared's never been in the military, but like, is that something that we do growing up here?
My dad was military.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So you knew you didn't.
There was a lot of no's there for me, and I'm like, well, my dad's also from New York.
Wow.
All of these things, yeah.
So interesting.
What was real crazy is his mom was like, I think I found some of your family in this plot cemetery where my family is. And I'm like, no. We cannot be related.
Yeah, no.
Stop digging for
Yeah,
that.
No,
no.
she did.
Not
She did all the ancestry stuff, and we're good.
Thank goodness. Okay, so y'all met and just connected from that night on, and he moved.
He
here.
lived here. He was stationed here. And he
okay.
was in CID, so he wasn't like infantry where he was deployed. And then when he got out, so we could stay here and raise family. And
So he got out because he knew he wanted to stay here.
yeah, we'd already had a 1-year-old when he got
Oh,
out,
okay. Gotcha. Okay.
which was nice, having family here. My mom lives like half a mile from where we live now.
Oh, that's so nice. We love being close to family.
My whole family lives on our road pretty much.
The dream.
Mm-hmm. Did you know how many kids y'all wanted to have?
Well, ever since I was little, I prayed specifically for a boy and then a girl.
And you got
then
it.
I did. And then I'm like, man, I should have prayed for like 4. But I'm very blessed with the children we have. They're good kids.
How far back does your really deep faith go? Like since you were
I was
younger?
raised.
Okay, and you feel like you've always had that? You
Yeah.
never had a phase in and out?
Well, I mean, there was a time in my life where I know the Lord was like, you are not doing what you need to be doing. But I never felt like he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but you got your mom right there. And then as you get older, and especially having kids, you're like, man, I can't get through this without him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's some hard mom times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I went through kind of a phase, at least during college, where I didn't go to church anymore. But yeah, then it's like you have a hard time and you really need him again. So gotta get back super.
Yep.
And then like you said with the kids, I want them to have a really good foundation.
I prayed even before I got pregnant, over my belly, over the babies, that they would fall in love with the Lord at an early age, and they really have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that obviously the birth of your child is like the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that born again day,
Yes. Okay, so for Baptist, do y'all do...
Baptism?
we do believers baptism.
Okay, so when they announce.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So not like fresh newborn baby.
No.
I was
do
raised
like
Catholic, so
Yeah.
I got
Oh,
dumped in the pool at
gotcha.
like a week old. You
Yes.
know?
Well, we do like a baby dedication, and they like holy water, and the church agrees to like pray for the babies, and we commit to raising them in the Lord and that type of thing, but not actual immersion at that age.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And have both of your kids done that? That's so awesome.
Henry came in. He was about 6, which I know he was really young, but he said, Mom, I was outside playing, and I felt the Lord telling me that it's time that he saves me. I was like, oh.
I know, that is
My
so
heart.
sweet.
And now he goes up and prays over people at the altar, and it's just...
6 is young, but I've only met Henry a couple, 2-3 times ever, but he's like an old soul, I feel like.
Well, there's
And
that,
so mature.
that verse in the Bible that says, don't let the children come to me, don't turn them away. So I wasn't going to be like, well, you're too young. And how many times in my life, even older, that rededication, like, if I had said, no, you're too young, I don't want that to, like, discourage him from growing. in the Lord.
Absolutely.
So the decision to homeschool, was that always in the plan? How did...
Actually, I said I would never do that, too.
Oh, okay.
So
So anything you say never to.
Yes, I need to say a lot more no's. So when Henry was born in August, so his birthday's right at that cutoff. So all of his friends,
When's your Henry's birthday?
August 19th.
Oh, okay.
August the 9th.
Oh, it's a good month.
Yeah.
Yep.
He would have had to start a year behind all of his friends. So, like, we're going to homeschool him to get him in school, and then he can start first grade. Well, then COVID hit. And then we were like, no. We just continued it. We got to fell in love with the curriculum. And it's just been nice to be able to not just teach them, but learn with them. Mm-hmm. And, hey, we want to go take a field trip. Let's go do that whenever and have them home.
So do you feel like you loved it equally after you started doing it, or was it a rough transition?
Oh, it wasn't really a rough transition because we didn't know any different. But trying to get a very active 5-year-old to sit and listen, I was like, how do teachers do it? They don't get paid enough.
No, they don't.
I don't. That was because, I'd messaged you and I was like, I had questions. I'd heavily contemplated homeschooling. And it's still not out of the picture for me. I'm taking it year by year.
Is he in kindergarten?
He's in kindergarten. So I'm taking it year by year. I'm not dead set on sticking with public school. I'm not.
Right.
100% on anything. But that was the thing. I was like, how am I going to... He does not listen to me.
And what I had to learn is give them grace, but give yourself grace. Because it's not easy.
For anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to do what's good for them in your mind, but they just see it as like, well, mommy's making me sit here and do all this work. And that's not the case. And you have, like, Henry learns differently than Clara does. Mm-hmm. So teaching 2 different grades, you just have to strategically pick out what plan works best.
Yeah. I feel like I can already tell my children would have very different learning styles. Mason is just naturally, things come easy to him. Mm-hmm. And if he has to work on anything at all and it takes effort, he's just not going to do it.
Is he more, let me do something hands-on?
He is technical, yes. And then Remy will sit there and listen to me. She wants to play school. I'm like, girl, you just turned 4. Like,
Claire, like, Mom, can I do all of my work today? Like, all of my books? I'm like, sure. And then Henry's like, oh, man, I've got 3 math problems right now. They're, like, taking me too long. Because he's like, Mom, I need to be using my hands. I need to do something. And I think that's one of the perks of homeschool is you can do that. In
you can
regular
cater
school, you
to
can't.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you decide what he's doing hands-on, or does the curriculum, or can he just have, like, free play?
It depends. Like, some days he's really good. He's, like, clear-headed and he can sit down. But then other days I can see the struggle. So we put the books away and we go do something active. Or I sit down and I'll read the material to him. Just day by day. And if you think about an adult, if you didn't sleep good the night before, your work is different.
Oh, yeah.
Like, or your attitude, I guess, is different. And it's nice to be able to see that and not expect him to still have to do all of those things perfectly.
Yeah.
That's a hard expectation.
It is, yeah.
For a kid.
And I think that's a big reason. Is it 3rd grade in public school? There's that big reading test.
I've heard that 3rd grade is like the trial year.
Mm-hmm. That's when they start doing grades.
Yeah. And I feel like just already in my head, that's going to like be such a like shift for me. I don't know if I want that anxiety on my kid. Like,
yeah.
You're going to fail a whole grade because you did bad on one test. That's a lot on how old are you in 3rd grade?
Well, some people don't test well.
Right. I was going to say, my Henry gets good grades, comes pretty easily to him, and he doesn't stress or worry. He's laid back. But when that was coming out, and I know there's pressure on the teachers, and that gets trickled down to the kids, and he was like, so if I miss this one test, I'm like, that's insane to me.
I know. I'm stressed hearing about it, so I don't want that for my child. And I just keep hoping by the time Mason gets there, I would love a hybrid program.
They did have that somewhere at Chapel Hill.
Yeah, it starts, I think, in 3rd grade.
Yeah, they don't do hybrid and
they don't do it for kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we'll see where this takes me. But yeah, I might end up being a homeschool mom. But I like you, I'm like, oh, I could never do that.
I thought that too. I thought my children are never going to know how to read. But he's a great reader. He picked that up naturally. And then Clara would sit with us, and she just picked it up without having to do the work.
Yeah.
She was 3 when we started.
Those second borns, they have a little advantage.
They do. They do.
So do y'all do Monday through Friday set hours, or is it like flex?
We roll with the punches because life is just crazy. Wednesdays we have gymnastics, so we kind of just do either makeup day, or that's considered our active day, really. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday is basically book days. Unless we have something going on, and then I'm like, well, it looks like it's field trip day.
Yeah.
We learn out and about. The kids do private baseball and softball lessons, so I feel like that's gym. Church can be music. You know, all the things.
Yeah.
Learning isn't so structured. It doesn't have to be.
No, like life helps teach you. Yeah.
Where do they do their private baseball and softball?
Elite.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Wait, that's
Excel.
gymnastics.
Yes, well, we go to Elite for gymnastics.
Yes, okay. So,
Excel
okay.
on Highway 12.
I wanted to get Henry in private hitting lessons, and I missed it. So
Well, they have openings.
They still do? Okay. I'm like, I put him in the group. First, the CHS coach does like a winter hitting.
Yeah.
It's 6 weeks. So we did that.
Well, there's also, he takes pitching out at Excel, and then he does hitting with Bradley Cooper from Rossview.
Okay.
And he is off of Memorial.
What team do y'all do a baseball
Little
team?
League.
Okay.
We're going to try travel ball, but that stresses me out because you're gone every weekend, and it's some...
She has experience.
Yes, tell me
Years
all the
of
things.
experience.
Henry wants to so bad.
Okay, well, Little League is so fun.
Yes.
And it's play with people that are close to you, you know, in your area. And then we started Henry, I thought, a little young for travel, I just kind of like refer to his dad on that. And then I kind of take the lead with Emma and dance. But school sports are so competitive here. His dad felt like if he even has a shot, we've got to get the ball rolling. So that was his thought process. But Henry has loved it. It is a big commitment.
Do y'all do year round basically, or just season by season?
When you do travel ball, I feel like it becomes year round. Like your spring season's your big season.
Okay.
It goes into summer.
See, I don't want to give up our rec season because I do love being out at that field with everybody.
Yeah.
But the thought of doing travel and rec at the same time. Like,
Right.
Ooh, and with Matt being gone every third day.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I didn't even do fall ball for my kids until Jarrett left the station.
And Matt works 2 jobs. So
Yeah.
he'll be at the fire station, then he'll go work till 4:30 the next day. So it's really just me.
And the kids all the time.
Right.
Shuffling them everywhere.
Like we ended fall league and now we're into basketball.
Right.
As soon as basketball ends, we start back up with spring ball. But then in the summer we have flag football, and then we have gymnastics in between. That's a lot.
You live in your
that's a
car.
lot.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Matt's all the time, your car is so gross. Like, we live here, and
Right.
No, Jarrett's always on me about my car.
it's a mom thing, I think.
No, it is.
You have to have everything you need.
Yep.
And like we're so busy one place to the next. I don't have time to get all the trash out.
And when
He's
I
like,
get
when you
home-
stop for gas, like don't you just clean it out? I'm like, no, I sit in my car and stay warm
Yes.
or cool depending on the season.
And when I get home, the last thing I want to do is clean my car out. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And carrying
I'm not
everything
doing
in.
that.
Nope. We're actually going to New York next month, and I told him on the way here, I said, hey, you need to take my car
And
to the
clean
fire
it.
station.
Oh yeah. You got nothing but time,
Yep.
buddy.
Pull it in that bay and clean it out.
I
Yeah.
want to go to New York.
Well, we're not in the fancy part. We're in the Clarksville. Actually, it's a lot smaller.
We're in the Clarksville, New York.
I love it.
It's tiny.
Okay. My daughter wants to go for Christmas so bad. So
Like to the city?
Yes. We went a couple summers ago for a dance trip, and it was so nice. She loved it, but it was hot. And so now with all the decorations and everything, it was 2 days ago. She was like, can we go this Christmas? I was like, babe,
That's quick.
that's less than a month.
And no.
I can't swing that right now, but I would love to.
So my brother lives in Albany.
Okay.
And I flew in and we went to New York City, and it wasn't bad, but I'm just used to people like smiling and waving, and
Yeah.
there's none of that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, there's like umbrellas because it was raining, and they don't care if they hit you with umbrella.
Right.
And I'm like, wow.
No, I felt the same. It wasn't like Southern hospitality for sure.
But it was interesting to see just that environment.
Yeah, the different
I
environment.
do see. I have not traveled much. I've been to Chicago once, and like that's the farthest I've gone from home.
What'd you think?
Chicago was great.
Okay.
I felt like it was fine.
That's on my list too.
No, I liked
Take
Chicago.
Henry to a game.
I also
Oh.
was, I don't know, a junior in high school, so
So
perspective.
less worries.
Yeah,
Yeah, when I
perspective
took the
for
kids to
sure.
New York, I'm like, do not
Yep.
move from my side.
Are those leashes okay at that age?
No, literally. I was like, I'm not joking, y'all. Which they're really good. They didn't get out of my sight. But the people who like work in Times Square in costumes, one of them touched him. I was like, nope.
We're done.
We're done with New York. Get on the plane.
No, that gives me anxiety thinking about it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna have to go crazy. What's your favorite place you've taken your kids on a trip?
So we always would go to the beach. That was our thing. We went with another family from the fire department, and then their little girl passed away, and that was Henry's best friend.
Oh my gosh.
And so we haven't quite ventured back to our spot. But it's quickly becoming Missouri. Like, they ask all the time, when do we get to go back? Can we go to a game? Can we go to the zoo? So I don't know how that's going to look going forward, but usually the beach, Panama City.
How did he handle
You know?
losing his friend like that?
When I tell you the Lord is working on that boy, I didn't know what we were going to do. Like, I sat in the car and I looked at my husband, like, how do I tell him his best friend is gone? And so we finally gather ourselves. We go in and like, buddy, I need to tell you something. And we told him, and he just kind of looked at us. He said, but she's okay now. She's with Jesus. Like, I miss her, but I know that she's okay. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, you're right. And then another one of his friends moved away, and he just lost it. And I thought, what is the difference? And he's like, well, I don't know if he's safe. I know she's safe.
That is so
And
sweet.
I'm like, okay.
He has such a tender heart.
When I tell you,
Yeah.
I ask him to pray for me, because sometimes I'm like, buddy, I can't.
I have asked my kids to pray for me, for sure.
It's just so genuine and pure.
It
They
is. I was
don't
gonna
try
say.
to be anything else than just a conversation with the Lord. And we try to make it more complicated. And
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I saying the right thing at the right time?
Right.
And
ooh,
yeah.
did that
No.
even make sense?
Right.
Like,
Did that
No.
get across?
I literally I probably sound crazy. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said it that way. That's not what I meant.
Right. No, I think I'm glad you said that, because I think so many people do that, but we don't realize that that's
Still
a thing. Like, yeah, we overcomplicate it so much.
I love it when my kids say their prayers out loud because they are funny sometimes.
Yes, they are.
Like, especially Remy, bless her. She's just naturally funny and like, I don't know, a little ditzy maybe. But it's adorable. She's 4. But like the things she says in her prayers, they're so cute and like you said, genuine. And
they're
like,
from the heart.
They are. She's like, pray that my Barbie house doesn't get hit by a tornado. I'm like, wow.
That is so cute.
But those little things, like, it makes me realize he wants us to come with the little bitty things and the big, huge things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's adorable, and I take notes from my kids for sure.
Actually, for Christmas, there's a book, a question a day, and I'm going to give it to my kids, and each day they'll answer the question. I think it'll be fun to look back on how they answered it, what they were thinking about at that time. Just like a daily journal.
That's cute.
For kids.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I need to remember that when my kids can read and write.
It's so much fun when they get to that age.
Yeah.
But then again, so for Christmas one year, I didn't know Henry could read yet. I didn't put it all together. We were upstairs, and we got him a metal detector. And he was like, Mom, what's that metal detector box? I'm like, oh, man. I mean, this was Christmas Eve.
Oh, no.
And that's what Santa was supposed to bring. And I'm like, oh.
What did you end up doing?
I had to rearrange some things. I had to unwrap and rewrap.
Yeah.
And
Did you tell her what happened to yours?
Do you already know? You might already know. I don't know. Okay, so it's a little crazy, but Amazon delivered the gigantic Barbie dream house in the Barbie dream house packaging.
Oh.
So on my front porch, we pull up. You can't hide a giant pink box.
You can't not see it.
It was like bigger than Remy. It was like 4 feet by 4 feet. Giant box. And so I was like, Jarrett, what are we going to do? And he was like, well, he thinks a little quicker than me because I'm already like, okay, what else are we going to get?
Right. What's the next thing on the list?
And he's like, we could tell her that they sent it to the wrong address. It's not actually ours.
Well, I mean, that's genius.
That is quick.
That is genius. But I had already...
Did Victoria do it? No, she didn't.
My mind had already gone to, we need a dog. Santa needs to bring a puppy. So it gets worse.
Is that this year or last year?
This is last year.
Okay.
Gets worse. So I let her have the Barbie house. I was like, well, it's here.
Right.
Enjoy. We did tell her. We were like, Mommy and Daddy, we're going to get this for you for Christmas, but you saw it, so you can have it now. But, like, Brother's going to have a little more to open on Christmas because this is a big gift. She was fine with that. Let me play with this house.
Yeah.
So we didn't just get a dog. We got 2 because they were sisters and they were the only 2 left. And it was the day of the tornado last year.
You are brave.
She is.
I am braver than brave. I have lost my mind. But they were the only 2 left, and the Mennonites had them. We drove up to Kentucky, and I couldn't just leave one.
See, I could have.
You could?
I did. We have one. We didn't take it into other siblings.
Well, it was the only one left. It was just the 2 of them in like a wooden box, and they were 12 weeks old, and that's all they'd ever had known was each other. And I knew it was supposed to be bad weather that day. I was like, are you just gonna die? Like, are they gonna do something to you if you're just like here?
How's it going with 2 dogs?
Well, we have 3.
We have 3 now.
Oh, it got worse. So the 2, Santa brought each kid a puppy for Christmas, and then a girl at work bought a black lab
For herself.
for herself, but she didn't ask her parents, who she still lives with, if she could have a dog. So she comes home and they're like, get it out.
Victoria's like, open door policy at my
I was
house.
like, well, let me ask Jarrett, and he said, yeah. So now I have 3 dogs. The other 2, okay, they're little. They're Boston Terriers.
Okay.
So
Little
little, tiny, maxed out at like 15 pounds each.
And the other one's a big, big dog.
Yeah, big black lab.
I get
She is 8 months old, and I'm like, wow, you are large.
Oh, this is recent.
Recent.
See, my kids are like, can we get another dog? I'm like, no.
What kind of dog do y'all have?
Labradoodle.
Okay.
I couldn't remember if it was golden or lab, but we got them from the Rashes.
Oh, okay. You know them.
I know them.
They live up the road from us.
Oh, yes.
Across from my mama.
My mom has worked with Johnny her whole life.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, in Clarksville, I feel like everyone knows somebody, like that 7 degrees of
Oh,
separation
yeah.
thing. And Matt thinks that's so weird because when we go back home, we know nobody.
Nobody? Yeah, no, everybody here knows everybody.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Which is crazy because this is a big town.
Yeah, and military town, but still, it's small. Same time.
It is.
Okay, so I want to go back to homeschooling because I remembered my question.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Victoria.
The curriculum you use.
Oh, I was going to ask that too.
Do y'all remember a house on like the end of Madison Street downtown that said it was Wildwood?
Yes.
Well, we started going through them and we loved it. We just ordered their curriculum off the internet. And it's an older curriculum. Like we don't do the Common Core math and
Thank goodness.
I cannot do that, so that's great.
Well, and I wonder sometimes, am I setting them up for failure? Like, if we have to put them in, does that hurt them? But I'll worry about that later if we get there. We just ordered offline. And it's Christian curriculum. But, I mean, it's old school. It's like 1960s. So you go slower. Like, I don't know what fourth graders are learning in math right now in public school setting.
I don't know.
What grade is your Henry in?
Henry's in 5th. They don't bring home books. They don't bring home work, really.
Okay.
He might have a homework passage of read this passage, answer the questions, and it's not due till the end of the week.
Is that new? Like the
Yes.
whole no homework thing?
Yes.
That's new.
And no books. Middle school, no lockers.
Oh.
Yeah. That stopped during
All of this sounds
COVID.
so weird to me.
I know.
I know. No changing out at gym, which I'm okay with now. But yeah, since we've been there, I mean, I'm older than y'all, but since I've been there, and the lockers started during COVID, no lockers, and now they've kept it because, I mean, I think the kids are just
I mean, if you don't have books, what do you need a locker for?
right, and they just want them to get to the next class, and that nothing.
I
happened.
can remember praying before, like the night before, in the morning before school, please let me get to my locker and get it open and get my stuff and get to class on time because they would just, I don't want to be late.
No,
I don't get in
hate
trouble.
being late.
Yeah.
And then if you need to go to the restroom,
No time for that.
Oh,
and
And
they
then
can't-
don't ask the teacher.
No, they can't. They can't go between classes anymore. She has to ask a teacher. So at one point, Emma was like mentioning how the teacher was saying no. I'm like, I feel like you can say no if you can't go during.
right.
Then you have to go at some point. Middle school is a whole different.
You know, Jared's a
breed.
teacher now. So I feel like I've heard a lot of
Oh, I
At
bet.
high school.
He's at Rossview High. He loves it. But yeah, it sounds a lot different than when we went. Like, he's talking about how kids are allowed to wear
Headphones?
headphones. They have to have one ear off so that they can be aware of what's going on around them.
To like listen to music, or is it like the noise canceling for like anxiety and such?
Oh, no, it's
No.
for music.
These
For
are-
yeah.
whatever they want.
I went to eat lunch with some friends, kid at school, and I saw all the kids in elementary school with these headphones on, and it's for like
Sensory.
Right. I
That
can see
makes
that.
sense to me.
Yeah.
I want to listen to 5 minutes of music in between class. That does not make sense to me.
We couldn't even have our cell phones.
No.
Right.
And now they're allowed to have them in the hallways.
Which honestly, if my kids went to school, I'd want them to have.
I would want them to.
I'm the same way. They had. Did you hear about this? The drill that went wrong
Yes.
at Richview the other day. Okay, so that's where Emma is. I was like, okay, full panic.
I would have been a nervous wreck.
I know. Emma said they won't let you in the school. I was like, watch me.
Yeah, they don't know.
Find me behind this bush.
That's right.
But they sent out the email pretty quickly that it was an accident. It was not really true.
But still,
but
that trauma now you got to unpack with your kid. Like,
the poor kids. Emma's different. It did not stress her out because she said her teacher was not stressed out. So I'm
Okay.
thankful for that.
Right.
But some other kids, absolutely, they were scared and crying. And if you're in a portable, you are supposed to run across the street.
oh,
So the article's like, kids were running across the street.
made it sound completely different.
Yeah, so they did everybody did what they were supposed to. I guess that's a good sign. But
They made it seem like it was a panic move
Right.
situation.
yeah.
No, they 100% did, but if you read the article.
Yeah, because that was before I spoke with Emma. And she was
Yeah.
like, no, Mom, they're supposed to. They cannot stay in
Which
the
that
portable."
does make sense to me if you're in a portable to not
Get out
stay
of
in
there.
it.
Yeah, be sitting up.
You sit and duck.
Henry actually asked for a phone for Christmas this year, and I'm like, well, you don't ever go anywhere. It's like you can drive. But I like the fact, like when we went to someone's house, we could pick up the house line and call.
Right.
What would he do if he needed me and couldn't unlock the parents' phone if there was an emergency? And Matt was like, you're stretching it. Like, he's not old enough for a phone.
When are you thinking is the good age?
I was thinking now, but Matt says when they start driving, but I think that's too far away.
You'll have to meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like last night, he spent the night somewhere and he couldn't sleep, but he had his iPad, so he could message me. He's like, can we pray? Like, we haven't prayed before bed, so we called and we prayed, and he still could not sleep. And I couldn't imagine him going through that and having no way to
contact you. Right.
So-
You're right. Nobody has a landline.
Like, we have some friends. I have a friend whose mom is diabetic, and so like, what happens if something happens to her? How do they
Right.
call 911? How do they call me and say, hey, we need you to come help?
And I don't know if it's just like weird medical things have happened to me in my life or Jarrett's job or a combination of life, but I'm just like, anything can happen to anyone at any time. Like you can be perfectly fine and then not be. So, yeah, I see what you're saying.
And like last year, we had my grandmother died in June, and they're my neighbors, so we're super close. And then his best friend died in October, and then a friend of ours died in November from church, and then my papa died in January.
Wow.
So it's just been a lot. And I'm like, they need me. They need to be able to call me.
Right. They need to be able to get in touch with their mom. Yeah. We did Emma's when she was 12, so she was in the middle of her first year of middle school. And I was more on edge. Like you said, her at school, I wanted her to be able to get a hold of me. So finally at 12. So that's Henry's rule too, 12.
I think middle school's a good time. Yeah. Like legally, they can kind of stay at home by themselves if they need to. And
right, that just naturally started happening when she was in middle school. She stayed home for an hour after school while I went to pick up Henry.
And that's not really, that wouldn't, because I don't go anywhere. We homeschool and I don't work. But if I ever wanted to like run to the dollar store and they want to go, they can't just be there with no way to call. Which they have their iPads, but what if the internet's out? Or what if, can you call 911 on the iPad?
I have no idea.
I don't know, because that's why my Henry
sure hope not.
for a phone. I mean, he asked for a phone for a lot of reasons, but even if, so we live right in front of an elementary school. So the elementary school that he goes to, there's a playground in the backyard. So I'll let him walk back there. But he's so much like me. He's like, I just wish I could call you if I needed you.
Right.
I'm like, me too. Like, I can
It's a
see
comfort.
you, but
It is.
Yeah, for everyone. Because Mason, he's going to be like Jerry. He's not, I'm fine.
Yeah, no fear.
No fear.
Take care of it all.
And then Remy's probably going to be like, no, I'll just stay with you forever.
yes, please.
Clara was crying the other day. She's like, Mom, I don't want to grow up and then have to move away.
Well, you don't?
Ever.
Yeah.
Just stay with me forever. It's fine.
We bought the land behind us, and so now they've decided they're each going to build a house, and they're going to put a slide in so their kids can slide.
Oh, yeah.
I love this, and I hope that
Absolutely,
happens.
yes.
I really want that for you.
Too.
What a dream come true.
Yes. I asked them how many
So-
kids. They're like, like 8.
They both love
Aw.
kids. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Remy tells me she wants to grow up so she can be a mommy. I was like, how many kids do you want? She said 10. I was like, ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Victoria, you used to want 7, so.
I did.
Did not do.
Well, okay, so I wanted, 4 to 7. I would have taken 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, she would have.
And then I had the 2, and I was like, let me take a little break, because they're 17 months apart. Hold on for a minute.
Right.
And then I just couldn't decide. What was it? Like 2 years of me back and forth.
You were praying about an answer.
I was praying for it. I was like, I need a sign, like some real sign, because I also had gestational diabetes with both. So my big thing was I want to be healthy for the kids I have. And how many times did I say that?
Yeah. Your word that year was health.
My word of the year was health.
You guys have a word of the year too?
Yes.
Let's put that on the back burner because I have a word too.
Okay. So last year in 2023, my word was health. And because I'd been having some like weird GI stomach stuff going on. And I was like, I just want to be healthy and like get my GI situation figured out. And then then I'll be good for maybe a third baby. And, health, it really took on a meaning of its own. And then pulmonary hypertension, I can't breathe, And that was such a curveball, but it was still health.
Did you have any of those symptoms when you were pregnant?
No, none. It literally started in May. I was like, oh, I have chest pain every day. Weird. And then, I have palpitations and chest pain every day. Even weirder. And then
But you didn't slow down. You pushed yourself more.
I did. Yeah. But then by August, I was like, I can't breathe or function anymore. It was a very fast onset to diagnosis, which I'm very fortunate and lucky and blessed that happened. But yeah, health really took on a meaning of its own. And with pulmonary hypertension, if you have a baby, it's generally fatal for mom and baby. So they recommended no more children. And one of the medicines that I have to take is toxic too, if I were to be pregnant.
Adoption an option?
I've always said no.
Never say never.
Yeah.
But I mean, what have we learned here?
Yeah.
I've always said no, but I think it's more of a not right now. I think where I am with my kids and my health, I also don't want to adopt a child and be unhealthy for them. Because that was my whole motto is I want to be healthy for the kids that I have. And here I am. I feel great, but I don't want to take on more and not feel great.
For the 2 you have, right? That makes sense.
Or for the third child even.
Right.
Like, that wouldn't be fair to them. I feel like you've always said you would foster.
I would just take 1,000,000 kids.
I have a friend who they literally fall in her lap. I'm not joking. Like the 2 kids she's adopted.
I need to be that.
People
Sign you up.
People have literally, like the one she has now, they messaged her, hey, my daughter's having this baby. Would you like to adopt it? I'm like, this does not happen normally. Friend.
Right.
You
No.
are blessed.
Yeah.
And
No,
they're
I
just
wanted
the sweetest
4,
kids.
and that just didn't come to fruition. And yeah, I would foster. I feel like my kids have been through so much with the divorce. I felt like I needed to put that on the back burner and focus on them.
Yeah.
So that's definitely still an option for me.
I just want a big family.
Mm-hmm.
Like crowded Thanksgiving table.
I love it.
And
The more, the merrier.
Yeah.
30
wrapping
plus.
paper all over the floor
Yes.
Christmas morning. Like, yeah.
Yeah, bring it on. That's what I
Like,
want.
Jarrett's house. Like, I just have a brother, and that's fine. That's great. I'm happy I have a sibling. Jarrett he's the oldest of 4.
And 4 is still relatively, it's not a lot.
It's not a
But
lot.
it makes a big difference.
It does, because, like, now we have our 2, and then his sister had 2 at the same time we had our 2.
Oh, I love that.
So they're all, like, 19 months apart total.
4 turns into 8, then turns into 16.
Exactly. And, like, 2 of his brothers haven't even, like, gotten married or had a kid yet. And his sister actually just had another baby and is in the process of adopting one. So, like, there's now
All the
6
kids,
grandkids, and it's getting big quick.
We don't have a big family. Matt has 2, which his brother lives with us now, but he's not married or has kids. So my kids' aunts and uncles are like an adopted situation. Our village is, we all go to church together. All the kids are within a year of each other. It is it's the biggest blessing being here. And I'll tell you how God works. We used to live at Exit 11. And we're like, Matt one day was like, we should sell our house. I'm like, okay. So the realtor came the
You are
next
so
day.
nice.
Well, my papa gave us land.
Okay.
So it didn't make sense to buy. So we were building a house, and it all happened so quickly. But we moved out there, and we started going to church out there. And now that's where we are. Like, that's our family. Mm-hmm. That's where all of their friends are. And they're not in school, but they still have that social aspect there multiple times a week. I always said, like, we're not raising children. We're raising warriors. We're raising soldiers, basically, in this world we live in. And to know that they have that, and they don't have the cousins, they have all that family. Oh, it just warms my heart.
Yes.
To lean on each other at a young age. Because it's crazy these days. I couldn't imagine
Oh, no.
facing the things they face.
No. We got to grow up without, like, for one, a lot of technology and a lot of
thing.
and a lot of information. We just got to be like, ignorance is bliss.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And
The
have no
questions.
clue. Yeah.
They ask those questions at an early age, and you're like, do I answer truthfully? Do I, like,
Right.
shield them a little bit?
Right. Like, how do you navigate hard questions? Do you say, I'll tell you when you're older, or do you give, like, an age appropriate answer?
Honestly, I think it depends on the kid, but my kids are so much older than they are. We're just upfront with them, basically,
Yeah.
because we don't want them to learn things incorrectly
Right.
from
Anywhere
older
else.
peers. Right. So we just, if they have the question, now when it comes like, where do babies come from, we still just say from the belly. Like, we
Yeah.
haven't quite. But other than that, we just answer.
Yeah. And I know you had said that you didn't know if you would keep homeschooling. Have you thought about public or private?
The only reason is I think, am I taking them out of the mission field by keeping them home? But at the same time, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Like, I like being able to wake up and have a slow morning and make breakfast or just snuggle for a few before we have to hit the ground running. And the kids seem to really enjoy it. But Henry did say, I could make so many friends. Like, you could.
But I do feel like you're good. See, that's where I think a holdup for me is also I would not be good about getting out and doing the socialization required, the sports and all that. Like, I don't feel like I would do enough.
Well, I didn't know that if you homeschool, you can still play school sports.
I don't know. I don't feel like I would have to put in the effort.
Right.
Which obviously I can put in effort for my children, but I don't know if I would do enough. But is that just like a lingering question for every
think
mom ever?
I told
Am I doing enough?
myself when we moved across the river, I'm like, I'm never going to have to go to town. Like, I'll go once a day. I'll be home. No, I'm in town every day. We have appointments. We have just something going on all the time. I think you just adjust as needed. Just like when you have your first child, you're like, how am I going to do all this? You just make it happen.
Right.
Mom life right there.
Yeah.
And it helps that my mom's so close. Like, if I need help with anything, she's always there.
That is nice.
So what was your word of the year?
This year's restoration.
Okay.
Last year's word was intentional, and the year before that was words. The word was words. But I just feel like there is this huge restoration coming, and I don't know what that looks like. If it's within my family, if it's within our church, because we've been through so much, like pastor after death, after just so much. Or if it just means like revival's coming. I don't know. But the Lord told me very clearly, pray for restoration.
Okay.
And I feel it.
I love that.
Was Matt raised in the church?
He was Lutheran.
Okay. So equally strong in his beliefs. Okay.
He was actually, so they do baby. Are you Catholic too?
No. Methodist.
Adult life, I'm Methodist.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. When we joined Hilldale Baptist, when we first had Henry, he was baptized there.
Thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple, and our Instagram page. And thanks for listening. Bye.